Okay, I'm going to show you how to use this accelerated mobile pages kit. This is version 1.0. I'm always going to be updating it. But what we're going to be doing today is we're going to make a site, one page that has many of the accelerated mobile page features. For example, it's going to have a menu. It's going to have an image, an AMP image. It's going to have a daily motion. It's going to have another image here. Of course, it's going to have content. It's going to have a lightbox gallery. It's going to have a slideshow. It's going to have a YouTube. We're going to work on an accordion. We're going to work on some tabs. All of these are AMP components, and I'm going to take you through these one by one. Here's an audio file and an iframe where you're going to be able to put an entire website inside of your page. That's what we're going to do. Alright, so I'm just going to close this. Once you download the AMPKit zip and unzip it, you'll find that in the unzip there is an index. When you double click that, it will open this page. This is the tool for creating accelerated mobile pages. Okay, now there's other things on here. Of course, we're going to be creating an AMP page, but if you don't want to do an AMP page, you can use this tool to do a non-AMP page, and maybe I'll make a little video on that, but that's not that important for you because you want to do an accelerated mobile page. Alright, let's begin. First thing we have to do is brand our site. So we're going to put branding. This cannot have any spaces or special characters. I'm going to make my branding specs, and when you do that, what happens is it starts creating your wonderful classes using specs. And so whatever you put there is going to be used throughout the code, and it'll be branded to you. Make sure there's no spaces or special characters. The second thing, the canonical URL. Sometimes people create an AMP page in addition to the regular page. If you have a regular page, this is where you tell the Googlebot where that page is so that they will know how to index your page. Okay, so if you don't have a different page for your accelerated mobile, you just put the address to your accelerated mobile page there. Okay, then we're going to build this site row by row. Here's a sketch of what we're going to do. We're going to have a nav, a header. We're going to have a main section or main row that will have a section. There will be eight columns wide, and a video or sidebar. Yeah, let's just call this right bar. It's going to have 4 columns. Here, let me get these. And then we're going to have a gallery, our lightbox gallery, which each div is going to be 3 columns. And then we're going to have a media where we're going to put some videos and some other things. Those are going to be 6 columns wide each. Then we're going to have some information where we'll put our tabs and our accordion and whatever else we think of at the time. And then we're going to have a 12-column div or row where we're going to have our website and then a footer. So let's begin. Nav, header, section. Okay, let's go. Now, you'll notice that you have to name your rows. I'm going to make this lowercase. It's probably a good idea to keep everything lowercase. You will be happy that you did. Okay, so my nav goes all the way across, so there's only going to be one div. So I'm going to slide this over to where it says 1, and it writes the code. You'll see that every time it writes code for you, it's going to label it for you. Begin nav row. End nav row. This is really going to help you when you start adding your content. Additionally, you can see that the class is whatever we pick. So if it goes all the way across the page, we know that it's 12 columns, and so the class is going to be our specs 12. Then of course the ID, and then every single div that's going to have content will have a nested div in there. That means that you'll be able to have padding between your content without adding padding. Okay, so that's our nav. Our second row will be header. I'm going to make it lowercase. You probably should too. And that's going to go all the way across. So there's only one rectangle that goes all the way across. So I'm going to pick 1. Then we have our main section. Here's a section and right bar. So we'll just call it main. And it's 2 divs across. 1, 2. Okay, but look, this is 8. This is going to be 8 columns, and this is 4. So I can go down right now and change the 6 because it's going to divide. It's going to put 2 columns or 2 divs of equal size. But I can highlight this 6, turn it to 8, and I can take this one and turn it to 4. That way, my first div inside the main row is going to have 8 columns, and then the second one is going to have 4 columns. And so you can even, once your site is done, if the client all of a sudden wants it to be 4 and 8, you can do that as long as these two numbers do not exceed 12. You'll have trouble if they exceed 12. It could be less then, and it's probably not so great. The optimal is that these two will equal 12. Okay, so there's our main. And then if we look at our page, it looks like our gallery comes next, where we're going to have our Lightbox gallery. So I'm just going to call it gallery. And there's going to be 4 divs. And then what do we have? Our media. Yep, our media is 2 across. So I'm going to do media and have 2. Boop, boop. And then we're going to have our information. There's going to be 3 divs there. I can even call it information. So we want 3 across. And then what do we got? Then we have our iframe where we're going to put our website, and it goes all the way across. Website. I'm going to make it just 1. And then lastly we'll put our footer in. And that goes all the way across too. But you know what we could do? We can make this one footer A, or we'll call footer B. It'll have 3. That's where we can put addresses and logos and search boxes. And then we'll have our main footer that'll go all the way across. I know it's not according to the design, but that'll be fine. All right, so we have all our divs written out for us right now, right here. So the first thing we're going to do is grab our index. This is where all the embedded CSS and our HTML, and at the bottom we have some JavaScript and some CSS that will help us when we're designing. But after we're done after we're done designing, we're going to remove this, or else it will produce non-valid AMP pages. So, but we're going to keep that just so that we can see what we're doing. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go back to the top and click this here button. And then I'm going to do a Command-C. I'm going to go to my Dreamweaver, create a new document, a new HTML document, delete everything and paste this. And that will be saved. Save as. And I don't know, we'll put it on a desktop under, let's create a new folder. Let's call it AMP Demo. Create, and we'll save that as working in our root folder called AMP Demo. Now if we save it all, which we did, and we go take a look-see how we're doing, I'm going to preview this in Firefox. Ooh, you know what? We didn't put our structure in. Okay, so now that we have our index, now we get our structure that we worked so hard on. After we close the index button, we're going to hit this. This grabs our structure, do a Command-C, and then we're going to put that in the wrapper. Right here, inside the wrapper. Now when we save it and we view it in the browser, we can see our entire structure, and it's already responsive, and it's ready for our different AMP components. Now don't worry about this. What this is doing here is this is going to create a space for our hamburger menu, which we will be able to move it all through the header using absolutely positioned divs. Okay, so let's begin. What should we do first? Let's put in our header image. I'm going to go and get a picture of these tomatoes. The way where I got this is I went to Moose Loose and over here, but you know, you'll be using your own images, but just to save time, I'm going to click the last button down here after all these squigglies and stuff, and I get a bunch of pictures that I saved from Unsplash. Okay, I'm going to get these tomatoes. So I'm using Firefox, so I'm going to copy the image location, but you would actually be using your own image in your root folder. So I'm just going to go to my AMP, and I'm going to go to AMP image, and it says paste the path to the image. So there it is. Notice that it wrote the code for that already. The width I know is 1280, but you will know the size of your graphic. 1280 is good though, because it means that it'll look good on a wide screen. And I know that's 600 pixels high. And then I'm going to fill in my my alt tag, and look, it wrote the code. So I'm going to grab this. This is going to be my header graphic, and I'm going to go over to the header. I'm going to find it. Looky, it's absolutely well delineated with these comments, and I'm going, because I don't want it padded, I'm just going to get rid of the nested div and paste it in there. And let's take a look at our beautiful site. Okay, right here. And we have our tomatoes in place. The reason I took out that nested div is because I wanted the graphic to go all the way across. You see how this nested div has a line and there's padding. If I would not have taken out that, oh, you know what? I don't want to do that. Let me do this again. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to paste it over here because we want to hang on to this. This is where we're going to put our menu. So there it is. I put it above the nested div right there. I don't know what I was thinking. Let's go take a look. All right. So there it is. Now we have this nested. This is where our hamburger is going to go. All right. So it goes all the way from end to end. This is exactly what we're looking for. So that's the header. You'll see that this is also how you put any kind of graphic in. If I wanted to put this graphic in our image, I would copy the image location. I would replace this, place the image. Okay, so I took this out and I pasted my new image. I know it's 1280 by 600, and I'll just put little girl. And that's, I'm going to put a caption. This is a little girl. Okay, the figure class is going to be I don't know, a small picture. There we go. And now that I have a figure or a caption, I'm going to copy that, select it, and then I'm going to go to my right bar. Here it is. It's my main 2. I'm going to take out that whole line and paste my graphic in. And when I hit save and I go and refresh, you'll see that the little girl is there with the caption. Now it's going to create this here border, and that's because the caption is there. But if we leave it there, I mean, that's fine. Otherwise, if we take the caption out, that won't happen. Okay, see, so, all right. So there's our graphic for our header, and you'll see that because it's AMP, it's already responsive. You see how even the little girl shrinks and grows according to the screen size. Okay, the next video, we're going to put in some navigation.